So welcome everybody to that fourth edition of the EMP conference. I am Sandrine Charosset. I'm working for Électricité de France and I'm also an H2020 project coordinator. And I'm very honored of chairing this event. Before starting, first of all, I would like to thank the many people who contributed to this hopefully successful conference. First, all the persons who contributed to the organization, in particular the members of the 8 H2020 projects. You see the logos on the screen. They are Open Entrance, Plan Perez, Magnitude, Planets, Pine, Hours2, Sentinel, and Navigate. Thank you also to all the session organizers, and a very special thank to Ingeborg Grabak from CNTF, Hans Auer from Teubin, and Samin Dekarai, who's just been speaking 2 seconds ago from World Future Council, who've been working day and night and weekend in the last days and weeks. I also want to warmly thank all the speakers. They have all prepared brilliant synthetic contributions. I hope you'll enjoy them. And thank you also to all the video poster authors who have adapted so well to that new format. And also to our selection committee, which was chaired by Hans Auer. And finally, a special thank to all the officers of the European Commission who support that event, who've been supporting it for 4 years, and who also supported us into the organization from the very beginning. So this year is a bit special, you all noticed. So we had to adapt to the circumstances, and we have decided not to cancel, but to organize that full webinar event. There are some very positive aspects. First of them is that it's much bigger in terms of attendance, because we have more than 400 attendees, and last year it was limited to 100. For us, that means more sharing, more openness, and hopefully it will contribute to shortening of delays in finding solutions in energy and climate research. I also would like to mention that we are registering all the sessions and we intend to publish them, of course, if speakers are okay, so that will be even more sharing. And we will also thank you and ask you to be understanding, as organizing that kind of event was a very first time for all of us. So we are completely discovering, we have learned a lot, and we have tried to invent new concepts so that this webinar event is as much alive and dynamic as possible. Samida, can you go to next slide? Thank you. Too fast.
You have the control, Sandrine.
Yeah, thank you. You did it. So as an example, we have replaced that traditional poster session by video poster sessions. So you can connect on our YouTube channel, you can watch the videos, and then today and tomorrow at 3 p.m., you will be invited to meet the authors in our special chat lounge. You can find all information for connecting in the session descriptions. You can see an example of a trial we've been doing. With those lounges, what we are trying to do is reproducing real networking. So when you enter a lounge, you have an avatar, you can move it close to the person you wish to discuss with, and automatically you'll be able to speak together. So we hope this will be working fine. During lunch break, you will also have the opportunity of discussing any free topics with anyone you wish in those special chat lounges. So going to the objectives of this conference, so the main objective is to bring together researchers and policymakers. We, as researchers, we are developing methods and models within H2020 funded projects and other projects, of course. Nevertheless, modeling is not a purpose by itself, and we all believe that our research can support stakeholders and policymakers. We believe we can contribute to the fundamental EU objectives related to climate change, reduction of emissions, and others. So our research aims to actively support the European Green Deal. We also wanted to point out the enormous boost in open source modeling, which we hope will help accelerating knowledge building and thus our ability to support policy making even when it is necessary to react fast on policy challenges, like the recent COVID crisis showed us. So here you can see the program of the event. We have built it jointly between the 8H 2020 projects, as well as the policy officers from the European Commission. We have tried to include various topics of interest, in particularly linked to the European Green Deal. And we also included a specific session related to the COVID crisis, which is just after this opening. This because we believe it will have some consequences on our modeling work, and we need to find out how to deal with this. So I hope, and we all hope in the organization, that you will enjoy this event, you will find the answers you are looking for, and meet people and nice new connections. So I will now leave the microphone to Jaren Schupers and Fabian Kreutzer, who are from the EC Commission. So Jeroen is from DG RTD, and Fabian is from DG NR. So Jeroen, up to you.
Starting again, good morning. My name is Jeroen Schuppers, Deputy Head of Unit for Clean Energy Transition in DG Research and Innovation. I'm happy to be here. We have been pleased to host this modeling conference for the last 3 versions in our premises. A big thank you to the organizers and all the contributors for now putting together this event virtually and putting together an interesting program. The theme today of your conference for the next 3 days is very interesting. It's modeling climate neutrality for the European Green Deal, which underlines the importance of the Green Deal to achieve our objectives of Europe becoming the first climate neutral continent by 2050. As was already mentioned by Sandrine, this year's conference is very special. It's web-based, it's virtual, and this shows the impact that the COVID-19 pandemic has not just on our way of working amongst us, but on the entire world and on Europe certainly. It is COVID-19 and the recovery that comes with this are strongly influencing our policy agenda. And rightfully so, they're important themes in today's discussion. The recovery, we underline that time and time again, needs to be green. It needs to serve the green and digital transition. So this is where we're going to invest heavily over the next few years. Important element in the recovery, the green recovery, is the clean energy transition. And this is even more important than before the crisis, I think. To kickstart this, we have, from research and innovation perspective, just launched a dedicated Green Deal call under Horizon 2020 with a budget of 100 million euro dedicated to solving some of the challenges of the Green Deal. And the next research and innovation program, Horizon Europe, will take this ambition even further. I would like to mention 3 things that are important to me in the clean energy transition. First of all, that is clean energy transition means more systems thinking. We should not only invest in R&I in renewable energy production, but also in infrastructure, in flexibility, energy storage, optimizing supply and demand, and sector integration, what have you. So the energy transition will require all these type of technologies, not just one renewable, but all renewables and all technologies without competition between them. And synergies and interactions between the technologies within the overall energy system are just as important. Second point I'd like to make is that innovation is not just about technology. We must try and strike a balance between people, planet, and prosperity, you could say. This means, for example, to embed technologies in their natural and the social environment, or solving the energy-water nexus, which is becoming more and more important with climate warming. Third point, important to us, is that the clean energy transition will, of course, reduce the CO2 footprint, but it may also increase the materials footprint. And therefore, I think it's urgent that we address the circularity, right, to develop future-proof technologies that are circular by design. Energy modeling, your theme today, is of very great importance to these issues, in particular in the sense of systems thinking. And we need, I think, to improve the capability of the models to capture the systems approach and also to better interface with society. The Green Deal and the recovery plan that I mentioned in the beginning all underline the importance of increasing our investment in research and innovation, in clean energy technologies. And in this particular context, energy modeling can provide very tangible knowledge for policymakers. For example, it could be interesting to have insights in what would be the level of research and innovation funding consistent with the climate neutral scenario, both at global and European level, or how can energy system scenarios incorporate these R&I investments and their effectiveness in reducing technology cost. So modeling can be a powerful tool also for policymakers. It can provide the facts and the evidence for our policies like decarbonization, energy security, but it will also give more transparency and accountability to the decision making. To conclude, because I want to keep it short, I think I'm looking at your program, I'm happy to see that your discussions will address many of these issues that I mentioned, certainly today, the impact of COVID-19 on the energy system, the strategies for the Green Deal, circularity. So with this, I would like to wish you many fruitful discussions in your workshops over the coming days, and I'm looking forward to your discussions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jaren. Thank you for joining us. So now, Fabian, it's up to you.
Thank you. So first of all, thanks. My name is Fabian Kreuzer. I'm a policy officer in DG Enel in the unit Economic Analysis and Financial Instruments, and there from the modeling team. Thanks to the organizers for allowing me today to speak at the opening of this important event, and also thanks for everyone listening for the time. I think in this very special circumstances, time is always a precious good. We as DG Enel have been supporting the event for quite some time, and as you know, all our policy recommendations, impact assessments are underpinned by mathematical models and tools. So for us, this is a crucial event, and we're also very interested in hearing the conclusions and new developments in the modeling scene that come out from this platform. You may also have seen that just recently DG Enel, together with the colleague from DG Klima, have published the new climate target plan and its associated communication and impact assessment. Modeling played a key part here. In 2019, first the European Parliament and the Council have endorsed the long-term objective of climate neutrality, but our current legislation is not in line with that objective. Hence, the Commission, its president, and in a large part in this Green Deal package, has proposed to increase the ambition of the European Union to 55% emissions reductions by 2030. The current target is at 40%. This climate target plan and the impact assessment now will serve to encourage the public debate, and I can only recommend everyone to have a look at it, because I think the document is interesting. It provides something for everyone, and particularly from a modeling point of view, I think it is an interesting read. The assessment also shows that it is all the sectors that will need to contribute to our climate and energy ambition. But it also shows that with 75% of the emissions coming currently from the energy sector, there will be an important role for the energy sector. This means we need to accelerate the energy transition, and we need to understand more. So modeling tools and software and innovation will definitely be part of it, as already my colleague from RTD said so wisely. You also know that from our past legislation, there is an instrument as called the National Energy and Climate Plans. From the Commission's point of view, these national energy and climate plans, where the countries, the member states already have outlined what they will contribute to our climate and energy targets, will also now serve as the springboards towards an increased ambition, and in this particular time also as the fundamental plan for the recovery, which links very nicely with the first session, the COVID impact, but also shows that because part of the national energy and climate plans was a long-term strategy from the countries, that there's also further modeling needed and maybe analysis needed where researchers could engage in. We at DG NF currently already, and intend so in the future, have a variety of models that we use in our policy making. You know that you might know that most of our long-term assessment requires a suite of models stretching from macroeconomic, environmental impacts, and associated models to energy models. And one of our most important exercises is the so-called reference scenario, which we're updating regularly and are already in the process of updating for this end of this year, beginning of next year, which serves as the baseline for the European Union. Furthermore, we also use the METIS model, which is a model for electricity, gas, and heat, where we opted for an open approach, and all the input and output data is openly accessible, which we are still investing in and intend to keep for the future, as we see it as an important aspect and model for smart integration. Furthermore, we are using the Potentia model in a long-standing cooperation with JRC and its competence in that area, and we intend to continue supporting this development. Finally, I would also like to mention that a key aspect of good modeling is high-quality input data, and in our exercises, we also strive to have more and more openness and transparency to that regard, which is the reason why, for example, in last November, we had a stakeholder discussion on this reference scenario exercises on the technology and cost assumptions. And that is another area to continue to increase this transparency. So to finish here, I would like to highlight again the importance of this event. You can see that a variety of models is appreciated, is very relevant in the current policy context, and we're very happy to support this event and its continuity. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Fabian. Thank you very much, Jaren, again. So we are fully on time. We are going to move to the first session, which is on the same connection link. So just stay here, and we are getting ready with all the speakers. So thank you very much, Jaren and Fabian, and hope we can talk together later.